We're live. We're live. We're live. Just CBD. Don't worry. I see. Somebody said, imagine being late. Can't imagine that. Yeah. The moon outside is doing some crazy shit tonight. So thought I'd better go take a couple pictures. So if anybody comes on to ask a couple questions, we'll see where this goes. Could get into some interesting topics. Otherwise, I'll ramble for a bit. Ask myself a couple questions, probably. I think it's time something actually happened. Legitimately. Like, we need to start putting ideas into action. Mainly, I'm thinking of this new understanding. I understand that these things take time, but only if you let it. Because I'm out here talking to homeless people every day, and like I tell a couple of them, we have good conversation, and they're tuned in, they're tapped in, whatever, and they know what I'm talking about. So I tell them what I think. If the subject of God comes up, I try and get to the point, build up a little bit, and then let them know that I believe we're all God and that every single one of us is our own version of God. And I think that's one of the most simplest ways I can say it. Yet after that, I usually have to, I usually like to explain that the word God has been so manipulated and it's used by like just our conception of God. And whenever we hear the word God, we're so fucking indoctrinated that we don't know what we're supposed to think. We just think. God. And everybody has their own ideas of what God is. That's why a lot of times I like to start with a question. If the subject of God is brought up by them, I like to ask, like, what do you believe God is? And this is the thing. Most of these homeless people out here are smart as fuck. So when you ask them that, they can already give a pretty solid answer. They'll tell you, like, it's some type of spirit, or it's everything, or it's like some kind of higher intelligence. And when we talk about higher intelligences, I think there's a couple. One of them is certainly organic and part of us, part of this realm that we live on. And we're connected to this realm. And we're connected to each other. So that's why there's one higher intelligence that's organic. And that intelligence is the combination of everything that is alive, that is breathing, speaking, feeling. But there's another intelligence out there. Damn it. An artificial intelligence. So I explained I talked about my thoughts on organic intelligence, what we should think of when we hear the word God. But there's also this type of parasite. I do believe that's what it is at this point. People out there have convinced me. Because that's what I do. I listen to people. And I feel out what they're saying. If something I'm hearing feels real and feels like it makes sense based on my experience in this world, then I usually go along with it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It feels like it could be right. I'm not blindly believing them. I'm agreeing with them because it seems like they're onto something. It seems like they're saying something intelligent, and I like that. So I like to bring together as many pieces of the puzzle as I can. This is pretty much what truth seeking is. And I use that because we know that conspiracy theories is just a made up phrase to make people think negatively of other people. even just the word conspiracy alludes to this thinking that there should be one correct narrative or thought, and that when you go against that, it's a conspiracy. I just, we should all be truth seekers. All my brothers and sisters. That's what you are. There's only two options. I'm sorry. Only two options. I think we all know that. So there's this channel called Elusive Truths. It's a really good one. It started me on a lot of thought journeys. And one of his latest videos that covers the baby formula shortage used that song that I used in my video yesterday, 2 days ago. Go to sleep, little baby. His video used that, and then it inspired me, because that's a great song. It inspired me to make that video with that song. Because obviously so many people are asleep today. Always. Our entire world is mostly asleep. This okay, there's another guy, Divergent. He likes to use the phrase that we're on this spinning ball with curved water, and spinning ball with curved water. And I think there was something else he likes to say, but it's supposed to be satirical, because first, we live on a crater, in a crater, and then that implies that the crater is a part of something much larger. And whatever that is, that's much larger, us common folk literally know nothing about it. And most people have accepted the fact that it doesn't even exist, because that's what they've been told. We've been it's genius, really. It's genius what has happened to us, because we've been put in a box, square. But then that box has been represented to us as a sphere, circular. And then we're told that that's all there is, just this sphere, a closed loop with great circles, and just a circles here, circles, circles, and all those circles make up a sphere. That's what they teach you in math. So we believe that that's all there is. That's what we live on. It's this spinning spherical ball floating in space. That's the other one that Divergent likes to use. We're on a spinning ball floating in space with curved water. Because if you look up videos or photos of landscapes of the ocean and whatnot, there'll be photos taken from 100 to 200 miles away, and you'll see like a mountain in the distance or something, maybe. But then the water is just flat. And supposedly, if you do the math that is given to us, if you actually just do the math that is given to us by whoever created the math system, it doesn't line up. The curvature of the earth doesn't line up with how wide the landscape you're seeing is. Now, I haven't done the math. I'm too lazy for that. But I know people have, and it makes sense to me. So, yeah, we're just on a spinning ball floating in space with curved water. Right? Right? That's all there is. That's literally all there is. Just spinning ball floating in space, curved water. And we are at the pinnacle of human civilization. We are at the top of the top, like, as advanced as we've ever fucking been as humans. Yeah. You already know. my brother tried telling me yesterday that, we know what Antarctica is, and people get to go there, and if we're here in the chat, maybe we should ask a question. If you'd like. Back to Antarctica. There's definitely fucking civilizations on, in, below, whatever, Antarctica and beyond. And if you take a trip to Antarctica as a tourist, yeah, you can do that. You can go to that land, but you literally get to see maybe 1% of 1%. Like you're presented with something that is called Antarctica, and you're led to believe that what you're seeing is all there is. Bobby. Come on. But what is Antarctica? Could be a lot of things. It's definitely not this medium-shaped continent on the bottom of this spinning ball floating in space with curved water. It's definitely not what it is. And that's exactly what we're told it is. So what we're presented as Antarctica is most likely just an entrance. It holds a couple paths that lead out into whatever that bigger thing is. Is it so hard to believe that there were humans bigger than us at one point in time? Like, is that such a far-fetched idea? It's literally one of the only things that make sense to explain where we came from. We came from something bigger. And now we're fucking ant people. We're just little ants with our little baby bricks. But we used to be massive. And we used to be smart. And we used big bricks. Like really big bricks. And to us at that time, that's all they were. They were just bricks. The same way as right now, our little baby red bricks is exactly what they are. It's just a brick, piece of stone. We build things with it. But if you just look at the fucking buildings, you'll see that all these places are built with our tiny little baby bricks. And then right below that are big bricks. And they go down. They're buried. We only see the tops of whatever these structures used to be. We see the tops of them. And there is so much that lies beneath. Entire cities of past civilizations are right beneath our feet on every step. Because I look at the bricks. I see that there's small bricks built on top of the big bricks. And then when you go down, if you move some of the dirt, you'll see that those big bricks, they go down into the dirt. Like they've been covered up. But you can still see them. You can still find them. And all over the place, not just in La Crosse, Wisconsin. All over the place, you find massive bricks. Some of them are as big as this room. Literally. It's amazing. Like the size we had to have been to be using bricks like that. Like I said, we would have been massive. I think that's yes, I have definitely thought of just going and digging a hole in some place. But then if you have to, you'll hit something eventually, that's for sure. But then you have to clear out a big space if you want to actually see any of it other than a piece of rock. But if we want to see big bricks, we don't need to go dig a hole. We just need to look in our backyards, especially here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We have the bluffs, and then it goes all around this area. And on some of the bluffs, it's just covered with trees. No rock faces. It's just all covered up with trees and dirt. And I'm pretty sure the mainstream narrative says that all these bluffs that don't have any rock faces, that are just covered up with trees and dirt, I think they say they're just mounds that may have been that would have been created by the people living here before us. What do we want to call them? Do we want to call them Native Americans? Now, there's definitely those. I think the ones around here, the bluffs, they're actually giant structures of what used to be. They're not. Okay, so there's a few options. There's pretty much 3 options of what giant fucking rock could be. There's trees that have been petrified, because obviously if we were massive at one point, giant, there would have been giant trees. Right. So they can either be trees or they can be dead giants and natural things like that. Because if there was giants that were, say, 3 times bigger than us, they came from something bigger, and those would have been even more massive. And obviously they're all dead now. And dead stuff over time turns to stone. Or it got turned to stone when it died. Both of those can happen. Yes. I believe our ancestors were giants and that they built things with bricks that went along with their size. Just like right now, we build things with bricks that go along with our size. These little baby red bricks. And really, that's like all we know how to do. We're stupid as fuck. Our entire human race, alone, besides from the select few that are given the knowledge of what we used to be and what we were capable of and still are, besides them, we're stupid as fuck. We know nothing. We have to build with these tiny little red bricks. It takes so many hours, labor hours, to build anything. And they're always these shitty little boxes. Like just a square. It's like so inventive, so awe-inspiring. This big square with millions of tiny little red bricks. All right. So I've explained science as on par with religion as one of the institutions in this realm that has been built on the thickest fucking layer of kitsch. There's science and there's religion. Those are both part of like a yin yang thing. With the one side, they're both one and the same thing. They're just here to fucking distract us from what's real. And they're built on such a big foundation of bullshit, lies, the denial of everything that is true, that at this point, if you have the eyes to see, you don't like it's so pointless. Three big onions. One is purple, but all still onions. Okay, so there's three things. Yeah, I love this guy. Formerly Jailbreak. I love this guy. He's like my best friend on YouTube. And like, yeah, I'm saying like so much because definitely have a little bit of an anxiety here. But he's smart. And you're right. Nothing he says makes sense for most people. It's there's a code to this because there's no reason. Whenever we write something down, we're using a system that was handed to us. And the system was created to really only allow us to think, say, and do certain things. So once you've broken out of that system and understand why it was created and how it's used, you don't want to use it anymore. It's pointless. Like it's oh yeah, that's a good explanation. But like it's pointless to just keep using the bullshit system. You might as well make up your own talking code because then only the people who actually fucking know will be able to make any sense of it. Three main things that these giant stones out here could be anywhere in the world. One, giant trees. Two, the remains of giant living things such as humans or giant animals, whatever. Or the creations of these giants, the structures, the buildings, what they used to make out of stone. Because that is still here. The most common one are the pyramids. We all know what the pyramids are. And I had the thought today, like, I bet the pyramids were just a fucking house. They probably just used them as houses. It would have been so common to have is true. The English language is, I think it's what's called like, or it either comes from or it still is, it's a pidgin language. Like, I don't know a lot about that, but I watched a couple good YouTube videos by a guy named Dane Calloway. And yeah, it's this intermediary that just like brings a bunch of stuff together and like tries to make some semblance of sounds and make it like takes words from languages and then makes a similar type of word that sounds phonetically similar to whatever that was, but the meaning is completely either flipped or different. The truth is that we are God, and we can do anything. We can do whatever the fuck we want. That's the truth. What are you supposed to do with that understanding? That's not what I'm here to tell you. That's not what I'm here to help you with. That's for you to do. Whatever you want to do with that understanding is up to you. And I think what most people do when I tell them and they hear, like, it just goes in one ear and out the other, and they just like block it from their consciousness, from whatever's going on in there. They just like, they block it out to where they don't have to think through the implications. Because yeah, it does. But that's just the foundation, is understanding. I don't know what to build on top of that foundation yet, because I only have myself really to think and get ideas and put into action. And the only thing I've tried to put into action is to get more people to understand and build a bigger foundation. And my plan is that once there's a big foundation, you work together to build up. Because I don't want to do that. I don't want to try and build something up myself, because more than likely that it'll be built on some type of kitsch. With more brothers and sisters that are all part of the same foundation, I know that we can all agree on something in a way that leads to like us building. Yes, we build for all. And that's why I want as many people as possible to be a part of the building process. And I'm not going to start the building process by myself, because I don't know what everybody wants or needs. I want us to come together to figure that out. It's not healthy to live constantly searching. You will never get people to understand. I'm sorry, but it's true. The only ones who will ever understand are people who have nothing better to do. Okay. Understanding are meant to be walked on. Your knowledge will only grow up, like you say. I don't build for me, I build for all. Yeah, and that's what I was responding to before. Like, I'm doing this all for us. It's all for love. I had a really good conversation for an hour or so with this homeless guy yesterday. And near the end of it, we got down to like what we think of is important in one word. Like, what are we supposed to do if we're supposed to do anything? In one word. Agree. I feel there comes a time where everyone knows the intended purpose of their being. I think there will come that time. Definitely not there yet. But in one word, his was compassion. And I had already thought of mine. It was love. So we were both thinking the exact same thing. Because what else is there that we're supposed to be doing other than spread the love? So I just want to spread the love to all my brothers and sisters out here. Even, I don't care if you don't understand or if you're choosing not to. That's your choice. I'm just here to make you think. And I'm doing it out of love. Love is a vibration. You literally vibrate. This is true. Everything is frequency. And we are receptors. We receive frequencies, and we also are creators. We create frequencies. So in this life that we live, we are constantly in this motion of picking up on frequencies while also putting out frequencies. We're always doing it, whether we'd like to or not. You want to spread the love to everyone but the people who actually genuinely care and love you. My love is impartial. It is what it is. And you can choose to accept my love, or you can choose to block yourself off from the frequencies. Nothing created without speaking it to life. This is true. You speak things into existence. And I've always thought that along those lines, you can also speak things out of existence. You'll realize someday, unfortunately, you are living in psychosis. Love you and care for you, but there's nothing that can be done until you hit rock bottom. You will see someday. Peace out, brother. Okay. Aren't we all living in some psychosis? Aren't we all fucking crazy? We've got a pandemic of mental illness. And I believe that I've got every fucking mental illness in the book. I'm the craziest motherfucker there is. I've got every single mental illness under the sun. And I'm just riding that line in the middle. You know, sometimes I'll go too far off in one direction, but I'm just so crazy that what can I do other than try and control it? Find that happy medium. I don't know about you, but when I'm in my everyday norm, no bothers. My blood pressure is 111 over 63. Calm. Honestly, no, do your research. There is lots of truth to what he said there. That bottom does have a basement. I've been there 3 times. Finally out. Oh, yeah, as for basements, like the basements that houses have in the city that I live in, those are just they're likely still just a top chunk of what lies beneath. Because there's this thing called the mud flood. And if you we're at this point in time now where if you look up mud flood on Google and go to Google Images, you'll actually see lots of representative pictures of architecture all over every single landmass that has this much sticking up and then this much underneath. You won't see pictures of that, but you'll see a big layer that got buried up. And if there was a big layer that got buried up, it means there's more below that layer. Proud that you made it out. It's very hard to do and come to that realization. I'm way past that. Oh, yeah, we were talking about rock bottom. Hitting rock bottom. Obviously, I like rock a lot. It's really cool. So if I can hit rock bottom, like that seems like a pretty solid place to be. Living on a good foundation of rock instead of this fucking mud that got put here. I was watching a John Levy video earlier today, and he was saying how he believes that all the good information we get now is coming from and is going to continue to come from amateurs. Whether that's what we see of space or what we see of ancient stone structures that are hiding out there. Like everything. Yeah, I don't like this KBA person. It seems a little insulting, the things they're saying. But, fair is fair. I'm not here to moderate anything. All I ask is that you ask me a question. Any question at all. I'm just here to make you think. So who was here before us? This place that we call America. America. Fuck yeah. Yeah, so the eagle, fucking Roman Empire, the all-seeing eye, fucking artificial intelligence. We put those two things together and you get America. It's the continuation of an empire that has been here for a long time. A long, long time. Yeah. America is the representative of dethrone the empire. When I read that, I think of Great Britain and how they're still controlling everything. They're still the world superpower. They're connected to everything. They still have fucking king and queen. And they do all their rituals. And they likely have access to some of the higher forms of technology. Possibly even the highest form of technology. They may have direct access and usage of a piece of the parasite. All right. We're ending it here. I made it to an hour. Yep. They are. It's a system built on death, debt, and destruction. Start decorporation of your life. And I was just about to say something that probably would have gotten this entire video, taken off of YouTube. So I probably shouldn't say it right at the end, but I want to so bad. Jews, man.